Welcome everyone to the 235th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's like September 1st and you all gotta go back to school. So here we are. We're at school.
We never left, though.
Oh,
We never left.
is this the Hotel Ponifornia?
Such a lovely place.
Such a lovely place. We're gonna start off at the bottom of the list because we always do the top. So from the top to the bottom, from bottom. Oh no, he just quit. No.
Look what you've done, LD. Look what you've done.
What have I done? Starting alphabetically at the bottom of the list, we got a little Pixie note from the land down under.
Hello, I'm Pixie. It's morning. Hi.
Is it
Well,
snowing there?
No, it's Brisbane. It doesn't snow. What the fuck are you on about?
Ever?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't swear.
You swear
No,
all
it
the time.
doesn't. It doesn't. What?
Like
It
2 seconds
doesn't.
in before we both swear.
What day is it?
It's a Tuesday.
September. It doesn't snow.
Now
No.
hold on. Did you say what day is it? September? Because.
Listen, he needs his
Close enough.
coffee.
All right.
Yeah,
all right.
no, pretty much.
You get it past
Everyone
this time,
does.
but only because our next member, Fluffy's Eye, says so.
Yeah, Pixie just needs some coffee
Thank you.
and to be excused. We all do, and chocolate and just nice things.
And at the top of the ever sorted alphabetical list, we got Alley Claw.
Oh, hi. How's it going? Best for last? No, I'm just kidding. That's Zom, the living dead, the host, the wonderful person. See what I did there? I complimented you. I did that.
Aww.
Just for
I
you.
am happy to
These
have
are all
recorded.
nice things, and compliments are nice things.
I'll play it on loop for the entire night.
Aww.
The rest of the stream is just that.
So welcome everyone. As always, if you have any art you'd like critiqued, please fire it towards our face at high speeds. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're just going to run through the pictures that were posted on our subreddit, as always. And welcome Zerwagaba. Yeah, that's your name now. Zeragamabora.
There you go.
Gamba.
Zaragamba.
Okay.
Gamba.
So top left-hand corner, we'll start off with this horse. Horse. Oh, I just closed it. Good job, me.
Ba-da-bum.
So this is by Melody Breeze 1. We've seen them in previous shows as last week's and the weeks before that, and I think the weeks before that too.
Whoa. Whoa, they sound familiar.
You may remember this person from such shows as MPDS 334 and MPDS 333.
Whoa. So their post is, I need a little help with shading hair, and the pony itself in the picture below is shaded, but something just feels off, and I can't place what it is. Anyway, here's Ariel Swiftbreeze.
Ooh. That is a pony name if I've ever heard one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm mostly just breaking this down for my own interest. I think some of the reasons why it might feel off is just the construction of it, kind of. You've also got a thing where I'm not sure where exactly these wings are coming from. You've got this one coming out over here, which is presumably on sort of the back side of the body, and this one over here, which is a little bit too far away to sort of match. I think coming out from this side of the body, but it is tough to tell with the hair covering the top and the bottom of the body. Let me just drag my stuff.
You imagine how
Over
much
to
shampoo
the
she
side.
uses?
Oh no. The page number moved.
I know.
What have you done, Pixie?
I'll fix it. I'll drag that back, and then I'll let this. And I'll drag this. There
So
we go.
if we try and follow the spine for the pony, it's coming down. Okay, that's suddenly Windows Ink. We can use that. Yep. Oh gosh, Windows Ink, what have you done to me? All right, there we go. So if we follow the spine of the pony, it sort of rockets down the back and stays up towards the top. It's kind of hard to follow where the body is. We can make estimates based off of basically what Pixie did for us. But if we then figure out the tail from that, it should be coming off the spine, like following the following the spine, because the dock at the end of it is actually the end of the spine. So we have it rocketing off the butt here. It looks like she's supposed to be doing a twist. So I think if we were to take that tail and just twist it around her as opposed to sort of hanging it down, it would more match to what you're doing here. So the twist, one of the important parts of telling that it's a twist rather than sitting sideways is getting some good overlapping going on the start of it here. So where it comes out, it's going to be pretty static for how it starts, but shortly after that, it's going to start turning up and turning around. So the easiest way to do overlapping is literally overlapping your lines. Just a little bit of it will help give that effect. That would be my suggestion for the tail. Give it a bit of overlap. It's going to give it motion.
It makes the floof that much more floofier.
Yeah.
Hello.
I think that the hair looks good. The hair's got a cool texture to it. It's mostly just it might be good to like look at other people's art and just like try breaking it down. So something I tend to do a lot is I'll have a page of other people's art. I'll just collect a bunch of ponies that I think look cool, and then I'll show there'll be like someone's pony here, cool, and then what I'll do is I will on my own page sort of break down how I think the pony looks into like these sorts of shapes, and it looks bad for a while, but then I sort of keep doing it, and I start to learn the sort of shapes that other people use when they draw their ponies and that sort of thing, and that helps me construct my own ponies in the future. So that might be useful. But I reckon the mane looks good. The main thing you might want to focus on is looking at the big overall shapes, because at the moment most of the mane is these sorts of big piles of hair, whereas it might be good to focus on sort of what kind of interesting shapes can you have like from here that are a little bit more focused, that are a little bit more that just feel like they're a little bit more together, and that starts getting into like graphic designy sort of concepts and shape design and all that sort of stuff. But it might be good to look at. That's a good pony. I like him.
And I think you also asked about the shading. So color pencils can be tricky. I'm not sure what type you're using because they can range depending on the quality they are. Some of the really, really cheaper ones can be super waxy, which makes things hard to blend and hard to add and stack color on top of each other. So while I do see some shading going on, like I see some right under the mane, especially up here in the darkest spots, it doesn't come out too much at all. So I'm not sure if it's the equipment you're using that's giving trouble with shading, or if you can I would push the shadows much more in this piece. I presume where your light source is coming from. I drew this little sun here, just a little sun with an arrow, because basing it off of your shadows here, I assume it's somewhat of an underlight because of where it's all hitting. Um, the other thing to keep in mind, I don't know if you did or haven't, or it's the pencils aren't going on dark enough, but I see no shadow in the hair at all. And since the hair is such a huge part of this picture, it should also be affected as well, considering it's a majority of what we see. And if we really want to get the idea and understanding that there's shadow in this piece, it would be good to put the shadow on that as well. So if I could give advice to figure out what your color pencils are doing and how they're working, test out doing shadow with simple shapes with your color pencil. You could even as simple as like, draw yourself a couple of boxes and just practice shading those boxes. Doesn't need to be fancy. It's like swatching. I don't know if you know that term or not. It's just Googling it, but you can swatch your colors. So say you want to draw something red, right? So you could give this box a base color of red. Let me actually do red so it like makes more sense. Um, I wouldn't color it in like that. I would actually go in spot by spot and color it in. But yeah, so we have like a little red box going on. And then there's multiple ways. I can't go into all of it. I'm not knowledged on all the ways to work with colored pencils, but I have watched a few things on it, and I highly recommend Googling. There's so many nice videos on just how to do pencil work, how to use color pencils, and ways to not only mix and blend colors, but also how to layer the colors and how to use your pencils as well. So I highly recommend get on YouTube. So many great artists that use pencils as a medium that you can definitely learn from. So it might be a matter of you need to layer the colors you want darker more, like I'm doing here with my own brush. I get like a layer on, say the light's coming directly this way, so this back area will not get any light. So like I'm going over and over and it's becoming darker and darker. Or it could be something like you take another color. So if this is red, I could jump to maybe green and that'll help. Because green and red mixed together would make a brown. It's not the prettiest. There's a lot of color theory to play in there. There's a lot of knowledge that I can't cover on this stream today
It's
with
like a
you, but
whole art course.
yeah, learning to use the medium, there's a lot to learn. It's not just like a rule of thumb I can shout out to you, but I highly recommend looking into that, how to use your pencils, and just looking in different ways to layer pencils or combine colors to get shadows or just hopefully that's a pointing you in the right direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, shall we move on?
Sure.
Yeah. Keep drawing ponies and send them to us. And I like your pony, and I hope we see more of you.
Hell yeah.
What? Allow us to hug your pony by turning it into plushy form.
Hug the horses. So next one up is by Circuit Main, and it says wishing for critique on an art challenge. Oh no, on art challenge.
It's a picture of me.
It's very fitting.
Yes.
So apparently they have a podcast and they do a weekly create challenge. Their prompt was first day of school. And the second was challenge of bones. Alright. I'd be interested to know what podcast it is.
Yeah. I like the art challenge. I like that a podcast does art challenges. That sounds fun.
Alright. So overall it looks like you have some pretty good shape down here. Like the pony body's working pretty well with the head. I think your front legs are a little too long, just compared to what the back legs are. Looks like someone's already correcting that as I say it. Your lines, however, could use a little bit of work in how you do them. When you're doing lines, we can see that you're doing. I'll make my pen bigger so it's more obvious. we can see that you're doing this sort of motion, where you're just sort of scratching out these lines to create these sort of smooth amalgamations. And while, I mean, it somewhat works, it does also leave a lot to be desired in line consistency and line clarity. You end up with getting things like these over here and weird stickouts over there, and none of your lines are very solid. They're all sort of airy because of it. My suggestion, and it's impossible to do it on traditional, but if you're digital, you always get the chance of zoom in and do large strokes. If you're traditional, it's a bit harder, but your solution is work on a larger canvas. So don't work on a small little piece of paper. Use up that paper area. And you're going to position your arm on it, and you're going to try your best not to use your wrist to do the strokes, but in fact, you're going to use your elbow and your shoulder. And this is going to allow you to throw your arm or pull your arm. I'm just leaving blue streaks everywhere. But the idea is you're
right now.
you're doing curves. You're doing smooth lines out of it, and it'll help even out all of these lines in big long strokes. Yeah.
Swooshy strokes is something we haven't endorsed enough lately. It used to be our bread and butter. I always hate to see. So it's fine if you want to just do little doodles on a piece of paper, but if you're trying to do art like a serious picture, like I hate to see people just doing like a tiny little minuscule drawing in the corner, which we see a lot here, and you can tell, especially when it's on like lined paper or something. But even so, you can tell, and it's like what just by the sort of grating of the pencil, how big a drawing is, and it's always good to see people using the actual full page because it's so much easier to get details in that way. So yeah, I concur. Swooshy strokes.
Yeah, something that I find has helped me with getting better line control in that kind of way is I'll have a page and I'll just do a bunch of exercises where I draw 3 points, like boom, 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 and then I'll just do my best to do a single big swoosh that sort of goes through all 3 of them. You know, I'll do this sort of thing to sort of, yeah,
Dang it.
try and teach myself how to do big long things and keep control during it and all that sort of stuff. And it's pretty dang useful.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also something that comes with time. So don't stress out if it's a bit difficult to get used to, or if you know, that sort of thing, because that's always going to happen. You're always going to have a bit of a training period of learning how to use those sort of muscles in that way.
Definitely a muscle memory thing. Gotta get that 1,000 drawings out.
Very true. I mean that's very liberal. Just thousands and thousands of drawings.
Yeah.
I need 1,000 drawings of a pony on my desk by Wednesday.
I do have over 1,000 drawings on DeviantArt. Interesting.
I think that something that strikes me is that these eyes are fairly front facing. They're kind of facing towards us, and this muzzle is pretty side facing. It's like a portraity sort of thing. So that's fairly common in normal MLP. The actual show does that a lot. Uses limited sorts of symbols. But it can be good to sort of try to switch it up and look at sort of different references and how people draw things and sort of,
yeah,
you know, something that's a little bit more tilted towards us or something like that.
I like to
look at that. It's a lot better.
I like to imagine what happened in this picture to get to this point is last night they partied late into the night and got a little blackout because apparently they started eating meat, but to the point where he's just like created a nest of the throwaway bits and has slept in said nest. That's why he's got chicken wings stuck in his mane tail.
That is interesting.
And now he has to meet a bunch of people, and it's just
Get so drunk you forget you're a herbivore.
Dangerous things.
I can relate to the sleepiness though.
I thought you were about to say so drunk you can relate to the so drunk that you forget you're a herbivore thing.
No. Maybe I could be so drunk I forget I'm an omnivore.
Did you know horses are actually omnivores? They will happily eat meat.
Mm-hmm. Little
and
critters.
can fully digest it, bones and all.
I did not know that, but it's kind of creepy.
Apparently, it's quite common for horses to eat mice and rats that are scurrying around them.
I heard squirrels too.
Squirrel. Oh, well, they're just tree rats.
Mean. They're cute. Well, rats are cute too.
Adding that to your list of fear, they won't eat you. They aren't like a cat who'll just like eat your body after a few days. They're more likely just to get out of there. Also, they really can't chew, so it has to fit in their mouth. Like, they don't have any canines or any of the sharp teeth we have. Yeah. Today you learned that horses eat steak. Alright, shall we move on to our next picture?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
So this one is by Dread Angel 1711.
Oh, yeah. It's a very clean pony.
So I decided to give drawing a pony of my own a try. For my first attempt, how would I do? This is your first attempt drawing a horse? Well done.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Absolutely awesome. I'm glad you were able to, put Overwatch down and can draw a pony.
Welcome to the Legion of the Horse Drawing Artists. It's good. It's good horse.
And now
I
you're
like the
doomed.
colors.
With the main bit of the body, I tend to have a bit more of a shape that's weighted to the front. So I tend to have like something like weighted to the front. Actually, let me see. Yeah, this works. Something that's weighted to the front and then sort of goes back into a point, roughly into a point. And then I sort of have that coming off from there and all that sort of stuff. And I also tend to have a bit of a shoulder, and that just helps me ground the look a little bit. And I don't know, I like the look of it with the shoulder and that sort of stuff. It's interesting with this leg bending this way. It's kind of weird how horse legs and pony legs work, because you've got this sort of a shoulder construction-y sort of thing, and then it goes up a little bit and then it goes back down. Learning those sorts of shapes, honestly, it just takes time, like breaking down other artists' work and also just like looking at real horses and all that sort of thing. But yeah. I probably also de-emphasize the this bit. It's just a personal thing, but at least for like normal standing poses, I think it's not quite as prominent most of the time. Let me do that. Bring this over.
Intense focus.
Intense drawing.
I like the background stock picture you grabbed. That looks nice. I would have just
Base.
gone a bit larger on the image, only because if you're gonna throw it as a backdrop on them, you might as well have it cover the full area. Especially because like they stick out just a little bit top and bottom. Definitely could have found a larger picture, or even just scaled it a bit. Might have been fine. I know.
I like it. It's kind of breaking out a bit from the background.
So it draws attention to it being a background. Yeah, I could see both points. Like I agree with LD, but I was gonna say as well what Pixie just said. Like I've seen pictures like this where the background will just be like a strip or like a sort of a circle or something that the character's coming out of. It can be very interesting.
All right, shall we move on to our next picture?
No,
Yeah.
this show needs more art.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Keep on drawing and sending us stuff because your art is nice.
Yes, you got this. I can't wait to see more.
We got this together.
Together. So enthusiastic.
Y'all just need like coffee IVs going.
Yeah, that's why I went BRB is to get a kind of relentless.
Can a relentless? Does it ever stop?
No.
Whoa.
Bottom's good. No, it's slightly less like I'm drinking pure acid than when I have Monster. So I started drinking this. And it's cheaper.
So next up is by Dustshine 5 Parkle 3. No, Dustshine Sparkle, but it's with 5 and 3 is yeah, numbers, leet speak. Remember that stuff.
The thing that no one could understand when spelling DJ Pony's name or pronouncing it.
Sci-Twi and Twilight Sparkle, drawn by me, Duskshine Sparkle. Hope y'all like it. Smiley face, smiley with hearts, smiley with heart's eyes, smiley blush, smiley.
So many smileys.
They're smiling so much.
So, when doing the drawings, I would assume a reference was used for the most part for these. You can see elements that definitely look like you favored the reference more than just YOLO'd it. That's good. Using references, always great. We all have hilarious catalogs of references on our screens whenever we're drawing. Like, it would look like a collage, even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so true.
Yep.
Well worth getting. And you don't even need them on the same pose. In fact, usually we don't even care about the same pose. We're just looking for something to sort of vaguely look at and go, all right, the head's, this big, the body's like that. How do those arms work? I need some arm moving things, and then I can sort of extrapolate that. That's what you're looking for in your references. Just sort of more than just them standing profile. You're looking for a bit of movement, a bit of life, a bit of explanation of the wibbly bits.
Something to help your brain connect point A to point B.
Yes, exactly.
And those types of references would help with areas like the hands and feet. I need my references for hands and feet. It looks like a strange fetish while I am drawing this because my screen is covered with hands and feet. But I assure you, it is just because I am not good with hands and feet.
It's for artistic references comes in as an excuse more than you might expect.
Yeah, it's people are shaped weird, yeah, and honestly, it's just kind of something that comes with mileage and intensely looking at the shapes while you're drawing. Someone that actually is pretty interesting for this is someone named Ethan Becker.
Oh, I know that name. That
Now-
sounds familiar.
His videos are very aggressive and angry, in kind of a jokey way, but he does have some really cool tips on learning how different sort of forms work and how to break down artists' pictures to sort of understand it a bit more clearly in your head. And so he might be someone to look at. And as you dig into it, just more life drawing in general can help get a sense of sort of which parts of the body are sort of straights, which sides tend to be curves, how when you get into like torsos, for example, what happens when you've got like one side coming into a point and the other side going straight and all that sort of stuff. All that kind of thing is just stuff that you learn as you draw more, as you pay attention to the shapes that you draw while you're looking at human form and all that sort of stuff. But this is good. I like it. Definitely stuff to learn, but you've definitely got like a good. You're building up a good understanding of things here,
Mm.
and I'm excited to see you draw more stuff.
Your hair is on point.
Yeah.
That is show quality, and it's wonderful. It's great. Keep that up. That is a great starting point for moving on here.
Yeah, and keep in mind that the official show always, especially with EQG, they tend to have these very exaggerated sort of proportions and these sort of interesting kind of poses in the way that I say interesting, like in if you like trying to learn how humans work, it could be good to just look at a variety of different shows involving people, and as well as that, just real people. There's one, I think they're called Senshi Stock.
Oh yeah.
Senshi
Yeah.
Stock.
I can never pronounce them, but I can grab the link.
Yeah. But they're pretty good for just making a lot of interesting reference pictures and chucking them up online and all clothes and that sort of stuff, which is good.
Super accessible. I posted it in both voice chat and the stream itself for all those interested. But yeah, it's super accessible, full of references, all body types, and it's just there's such a library there. And it's all.
Was this the one you were talking about last week?
Mhm.
Ah,
It's
that's
really
cool.
nice because like human references are great. Getting the least amount of clothes as possible to get like body shape down is even better. But I know it's also awkward to just have naked people up on your computer sometimes, and you just need clothed people. And you know what? That's okay. And there's sources, and it's out there. There's stuff out there. You don't need to jump in head deep into all the other stuff.
Mom, I'm not looking at porn. I'm just drawing. Jeez.
Listen, some people
Okay.
have that problem. Like,
Yeah, no,
you
definitely.
can't like draw in a household.
People don't understand references.
It's just very accessible, so I like sharing that one the most.
It's good. With this area down here, something that you'll find a lot is when you're drawing the body is that this whole thing will sort of be more facing that way, and one side will sort of take up more space than the other, and that's kind of a good way to just show off show depth in your picture is by having different body parts overlap each other, kind of. So don't be too scared of having stuff overlap other things, because overlapping is really good, and it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's something to focus on. That sometimes it's easy to accidentally not really think about it, and then looking at it in reflection or having someone else look at it, you can spot like ways where, if you move this like slightly further over, it could like overlap or underlap, and it would show the depth better. Yeah, sometimes it's worth looking at.
All right. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Let's do.
For us,
It's a boop.
It's a boop
It's a boop.
from Solder.
I know them.
that's
What?
the person who. What is their the call?
Oh, they're muted in the call. They can't hear us.
That's
Are they in our other
probably them being respectful. But if you're here with us, soldier, if you can hear us, then
They can't.
oh no, they didn't.
Just do it.
Well, they might be
now.
listening to the stream, or they're just here because they want to share memes.
I think Zamzam is gonna ping them.
I relate to this pony only because he's like light coat, brown mane, blue eyes, and getting booped, and also being called cute. So
Yeah.
and looking very surprised and alarmed at that fact. So I relate to this pony in a lot of ways.
If they don't respond right away, we could jump to the next one and see if they, boop back eventually. I know they usually
Wait,
jump in
this is-
after the stream's over.
Yeah. Let's do that for now.
Okay.
Do you
To the
have
human.
It has been voted.
a sunlight, starlight, star what's
Stand sunlight? Yes, please.
Sparkle pony.
I will stand the shimmer. No one can stop me.
Interestingly, they are in our chat right now. They've been in our chat this entire time, and we
Oh.
And we
didn't
could
do our
have been
normal
doing
thing.
the live.
Oh, you gotta boop us. You gotta boop us like that last pony, right in
Oh,
the
I know
face.
what's happening in this. It's the video game with the telekinesis.
It's at them their video games.
Yeah.
It's a shooty. The cool thing is
Shooty James.
The shooty
Yeah.
James.
the cool thing is that we do have the reference directly below, which
Whoa.
is cool.
Yeah, recognize the weird like shifting gun, which I don't know how that works logically, but
So
Yeah, you with video games and that sort of thing, you're always going to have some areas which are a little bit interesting. Like the shoulders tend to be a little bit weird on 3D models, just because you've got sort of it's all right when they're sort of standing straight up and down, but when you need to twist the shoulder into this sort of position, sometimes 3D models can have dramas where they just, because they're not like real mass behind there, they can like just be a little bit like weird and contorted and that sort of stuff. So it's good. This reference is good. It can be good to pick up some real humans as well, just to compare and stuff like that. But
do you have any questions in particular for us, Zara? You talked about
Yeah.
in your post, this is your first real attempt dealing with foreshadow or foreshortening, and you think you did a decent job, and just now you think that her left shoulder is too large compared to the right, and that the width of the hips is better this time. But do you have any questions or any sticky parts in this picture? Not really. Oh, well, then problem solved. No issues.
I guess think of it like, is there anything you particularly struggled with, or is there something you wish you could do better, or something you want, like specifics? Because everyone wants to improve, and I know everyone says, but where should I keep improving? It's like, well, that's up to you. What is it that you felt you struggled with? Okay, so prepare perspective. That's great. That's perfect. We could work with perspective. Have you Googled perspective at all? Have you looked up any classes, any videos explaining perspective, or just drawing in perspective in general? A bit. Awesome. More. There's a
Whoa.
lot. There's a lot to perspective. Good, good. Oh, good, good, good. Draw a box. Always a good hit to, especially working on perspective and forms. It really helps those practices with understanding forms in perspective. Damn, nice. Progress.
Oh yeah.
Boxes.
It always feels like you need to draw more, and that's why art is very much a thing to learn in art is patience, because it will take time, but don't rush yourself.
Yeah. There's a lot to learn in art, and a lot of time to learn it as well. So you don't need to be too stressed. But it's good to push yourself, but try not to stress out so much. It makes it not fun because that is not fun.
Hmm.
With your foreshortening and that sort of thing, I think it's mostly just a case of getting a bit better at proportions and sort of having an innate understanding of when you draw something or when you look at something, how big is it actually on the page on what you're looking at. Something that has helped a lot of people when they're just drawing in general based off a picture they're looking at is to close one eye, because it can just help stop any sort of weird 3D thing, because you have two eyes, and so if you eliminate one of those, then it can a lot of the time
Yeah, when you're
give
looking
you a
through
bit,
one eye, you're looking in 2D mostly.
yeah, a bit more of a clearer
Obviously,
picture.
moving
It
around
seems.
gives you an approximation of distance, but if you're just like looking at a still like scene, you're looking at a constant 2D image that is moving in a 3D way because you only have one eye.
Yeah,
Helps.
I think that in general, it's pretty good. It's just the shifting of a lot of the basic proportions, like this. If you look at sort of this whole hand area, and then let's drag that over the face. Whoa, it's really big. It's super big. Like it's the whole face. Delete. And something that I like to do when I'm like looking at drawings, or when I'm looking at people, when I'm life drawing, when I'm doing all sorts of stuff, is I will break it down in different ways. So one of the ways you can break it down is by trying to focus on different shapes. Let me zoom down a little bit. So I'll have the whole sort of torso be a shape like this, and then I'll sort of build shapes up on top of that. And then what I can do is I'll do this sort of in my head while I'm looking at it, and then I'll go onto my page and I'll just do these sort of same kind of basic shapes. And then I can like compare, okay, how do my shapes line up to the actual thing? Does this sort of goes down with an angle like that? So if I do that, yep, that looks kind of right. If I get down with sort of an angle like this, yep, that looks mostly right. If I go sort of across, sort of reach the butt of the gun, and then I'll sort of do weird things like that. It's really interesting when you're trying to like draw something based off a reference, because there's a million different ways to sort of break it down and understand it as you're trying to draw it. That's kind of one way. Another way that I'll do is I'll just let me delete all this. Sometimes I can do things just based off circles. So I'll like sort of try to break it down on sort of circles and that sort of weird thing. It's same kind of idea. I'll just make up like as many of the shapes as I can with like more basic shapes, and that can help. And just mess around a bit and keep drawing. Keep like looking at your finished drawing and then comparing it to the original and seeing. Look at sort of the big details and compare them to where they are in your drawing. and then like compare them to the stuff around it. Like if you look around here, the shoulder is like going into it, and it's fairly small. And on yours, you've got like all the shoulder. That's not a bad thing. It's not because you're bad at drawing or anything like that. It's just because you still have stuff to learn about comparing proportions and all that sort of stuff. And you can always use it as a learning experience because you're just learning how to draw better. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
absolutely feel with you there. I do too. I focus on details before I get to the basics a lot of the time. It's something I'm trying to break, a bad habit of mine. It's very weird to not want to draw the details first, because I don't know. There's something just like, yeah, if I draw the details, it'll work out. It'll look great. It'll shape itself. But it really is, the building blocks are always gonna reign king when it comes to putting something together, and just breaking it down like that. Like, it's so good. I really recommend it. Pixie, you did a great job explaining it. I have nothing more to add to it because it was so well explained. But that method's really been helping me lately. But it still is really hard. You have to like mentally catch yourself to like, nope, don't start drawing features, don't start doing strands or anything. Like but yeah, I feel you there. The details are
Yeah, it takes a lot of effort to sort of stick with the high level construction things. If you go into like a normal life drawing session, what they'll tend to do is they'll tend to start you off with a bunch of 30-second or 1-minute poses, and then they will do like 5 of those, and then go on to like some 2-minute drawings, do a few of those, 5-minute drawings, 10-minute drawings, and a couple of maybe 20-minute drawings or something like that. And that kind of thing, when you do these sort of short poses, the pictures don't look good. They don't look like, fully finished drawings and that sort of stuff. You'd be lucky if you've got like, a decent sort of thing that shows off the pose and like people can see that it is the pose. But what it does is if you do that more and do that more, it will force you to focus on what is important about it. What do I need ultimately to sort of have this come across as this pose? And that is where I kind of have learned a lot of my breaking pictures down and focusing on the big details and all that sort of thing. So I can recommend just doing some of that. If you want to, try it out, give it a shot, because that's helped me a fair bit. Yeah. And out of each session, usually, some sessions I'll be like, oh yeah, all these look awesome. But like most sessions, I'll be like, okay, 1 or 2 of these look awesome. And the rest of them look like complete garbage. But I'm still learning.
I mean, if anything, I find those kind of sessions, even if they turn out garbage, it helps you loosen up. So there's still like a small thing, small positive you can grab from it.
Exactly.
Line of action, yeah, that's a good site for it. I forget if I'm not familiar with quick poses. I feel like I've heard of them, but I definitely know line of action has that. They also have it for animals too, which is also a really fun challenge to do stuff with animals.
I love the I love the line of action animal drawing stuff, especially the horses and the cats and dogs, because they're all useful when you're drawing ponies.
Truth.
All right, Zara, you got any further questions for us there, buddy? So, they have no questions for their art for Soldier?
Nope.
And then I'll quick. Still in time waste mode. Boo doo 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 doo. Wasting.
Well, if anyone has any like general questions they want to ask, we can waste some time.
Nice job on the Pokemon there, Zai.
Oh, thanks. I don't think
How
I've drawn
fitting.
a Smeargle before.
I don't think I've seen one
They
before.
are cute. I love Smeargle. Oh, they've moved again. The numbers moved again. Ah.
How will they survive?
They're supposed to be painting in the number.
Ooh, very nice first attempt of a pony.
Yeah.
Horse.
Horse.
Nay.
I like the horses.
Alright, so let's do the boop one. They didn't have any questions in particular with us, so
Ooh, Jenny's in the chat.
let's just do it.
Yeah, she's been there. She's been silly.
I've not been paying attention to Picato.
Just all the monitors. I believe in you. Alright, so this one, as we said, is by Soldier Point or MLG Gamers Dudes.
Yeah.
It's surprise boop.
Cutie boop.
Boop with
Good
your hair.
pony.
You know what? Pony boops are a little bit worse if you consider that horses are just walking around on their hooves at all times, and they might be stepping in things, and then boop.
Can I just say
It's not very safe in the current climate.
I want to say not to Google it, but if I say that, people will just go ahead and Google it. But I learned something called angel fingers exists, and it's only in newborn horses, and it's the strangest thing I've ever seen on a hoof.
Ooh,
So I'll just throw that out into the
that's
universe.
such an interesting name.
Angel fingers.
I think it's angel fingers.
Alright. Well, I'll Google that later and be disturbed.
I could be wrong, so like you may just find nothing, but it was something weird.
Or I may just.
I
find-
just googled it and yeah, no, don't do that.
Sorry.
All good. Solda's got a really interesting style. It's very, very circular, very, very round, and that sort of stuff. And if I could, if you're looking to experiment a bit or anything like that, it might be good to try just different stuff that's a little bit less round and modular.
So one thing I noticed about the head is your ears have just like displaced themselves and gone for a new country, living up in the mane rather than on the skull. And that tends to happen with horses because their heads take over, like their manes take over everything and sort of start, trying to separate later into the life, and then they want like custody over some of it, so you give up the ears because they're closest. That might have been what's happened here. My suggestion would be just make up. You can break up, but you don't have to give up the ears for it. Give up the muzzle. Who needs a muzzle? So bring the ears back down. We're gonna try and keep with the ball, even if you want to do like an oval or something. You don't want the top of the forehead too far from the eyes, because if it gets too far from the eyes, you end up with, well, on yours, your entire forehead is the same size as the rest of your head. So I would just bring that on down there, if that makes sense. What? It's just a mane with ears. Oh, jeez.
I drew the mane escaping, as you said.
It's just another pony on top.
And hello, Solda. I now see that you were here. I'm not sure if you got my first comment, sort of thing, but I was saying if you're looking to experiment a little bit with your style and that sort of stuff, it could be good to try out some stuff that's not as round and modular, and try to basically just loosen up a bit and, try out some stuff that's maybe like a little bit more, other sorts of shapes and all sorts of weird stuff. And it doesn't need to look good. It's just, something that you can mess around with to try and see how you like it. Every sort of time that I've like messed around and changed up my style a bit, it's always been through trying out some stuff really loosely and it looking not great because it's really loose and all over the joint. But then through doing that, through like, trying out a bunch of different stuff, I'll sort of, stumble on a few things which I really do like. And then after a while, I will find out exactly what I do like about it and then try to more cleanly do those elements and that sort of stuff. But I do like your round modular sort of style. It's cool.
You got any follow-up questions after our talk? I don't know why I keep using my arms to talk here. You can't see me waving my arms around. You might be able to hear it. Occasionally I hit the walls and stuff.
Don't worry, I can see. It's all good.
Oh! I will
Oh,
go
no.
put pants on just for you.
Oh no. But yeah, you draw good ponies.
You're super cute.
And I like them.
We gotta get you a sketchbook.
No, I didn't know he was wearing glasses. I think it's because the glasses appear to just be the eye circles.
I think that and the bridge of them just looks like it's the nose. I think the line under that is the nose actually, but it looks like it's the nose with the glasses bridges. It is hard to tell. This is like a thing about readability. It's just like if you can't tell like from an immediate glance without knowing as like prior knowledge what the thing is that you're trying to express, then it's worth like trying to find out, okay, what elements do I need to make it appear this way, and then try and accentuate those elements.
So if they're supposed to be super round glasses, you can have them also offset from the eyes. Because right now it just looks like that is the eyes. So, or even if the shape of the glasses isn't important, you could do like a square glasses, and that'll really offset. And like something else that can help is like not having the bridges completely colored in. Just like having them like a tubey, cartoony, simplified thing. I feel like that would go. Obviously not this messy, but just quick throwing it on. To have it pop off and look like it's not a part of the facial features. And maybe even go in front of the hair.
Yeah. But they are good ponies. Pony.
Pony?
Crack that up a bit.
Alright, well, does anyone else have any art they'd like critiqued? Any other questions they'd like to ask? Any other Fluffy's eyes that'd like an exact count of how much fluff he has?
I knew I'd be the target of it for some reason.
How much inch of fluff? Now, are we measuring it in a cubic measurement? Like if we were to shave him bald and then measure that? Or are we talking just like distance off the body?
Is it a quadratic inch is the question. Also, Jenny, Yeah. Chuck us a link
If we
in there
shade-
and or in voice chat and or
shade
DMs
them.
and or whatever.
Just get a carrier pigeon and have that one fly the art to us. Ooh.
Ooh, this is
Ooh.
very graphic. In like a graphic design sense, not in like a... yeah.
So violent. No.
I like it a lot.
Me too. I like the colors.
Is this a Kirini or... yeah, it's a Kirini. Yeah. That's good.
Resize and horse.
Horse, ba.
Of course.
No. Whoever wrote
I
boot
should.
poem, I need you to.
Erase my boot pen. The boots have been ceased and stopped by LD.
Stop right there, criminal scum.
Sad day for all boot pone
You
kind.
committed both against the question of people.
What am I going to do with you? All right, Jenny, what questions do you have in particular about this lovely rendering? Colors.
So cool.
Anything in particular about the colors, or just, what are colors?
What are color?
Hmm.
I like ham. What? You feel like the flames are shadowing the lightning.
Mm.
I think with the lyric that sort of makes sense. I think I can see why that ended up being the case. They're very flamey.
I mean, if you feel like you want the lightning more present, the only reason the flames would feel like they're overshadowing is because there's simply more of it. So like having your little lightning strands here, have them come down further
That's what.
around, get that color deeper into the picture. Because right now, as we look at it, the territory is split like this. So yes, the flames will always kind of feel like they're quote unquote more powerful. But
Mm-hmm.
Also, you've taken your outlining color. It does appear to be likely an orange curing, but if you were to drape this in the yellows and blues or yellows and teals rather than just the orange, it's going to help give that impression that light is more important than the fire hanging around. Same as you work your way down on the body, just draping them in the colors from the light source. I find it interesting that the lightning curves here. Like your lightning's very swooshy, but everything else is blocky and sharp.
Typically, when it comes to lightning, you sort of wanna really get that like there's like angry, edgy strokes in. There's like jagged back and forward sort of.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, but flame is very organic in how it forms, which is
Yes.
an odd duality that you would switch that. Why'd you choose to do that?
Interesting choice.
It's not wrong. It's just
It
Oh yeah, it's just creative.
yeah, it might be good to do something along the lines of, if you're looking to, I really like the composition. It's cool, but the flames are a lot more powerful than the lightning here. If you're looking to sort of reduce the powerfulness of the flames, it might also be good to just change the colors up a bit. Like here, I've just got like taken these and then made them a little bit more desaturated and a little bit lean a little bit more towards a specific shape and that sort of thing. More towards one of the specific colors and that sort of thing. Contrast is always really weird. This lightning, the whole shape and the colors and everything like that, they're really, really contrasty. And these are also really contrasty. So I think, as Ali said, separating the amount of them or the colors, the impact the colors have, or that sort of thing, or maybe you could even sort of break up these big blocky outlines by like having some different colors come in there so that it's less of like a single distinct form coming through, and it's more like a bunch of different forms that sort of break things up a bit without sort of disrupting the colors that you're going for too much. Could be interesting.
Hmm. Yeah,
So,
I really do agree with bringing down the red because that's I think that's also one of the hard things about red is that next to white, it's the color that human eyes are most drawn to. So not only does it take up a lot, it also is a color humans go like, yeah, I noticed that. I noticed the red. I see the red. Um, so yeah, a combination of a lot of the things.
There's lots of aspects to color theory.
but this looks good.
Yeah, I really do love it. Like honestly, it's a really good composition, and I like the
So
concept and the colors.
drastic and beautiful. And I always love your style. You have such a unique style.
It's all on one layer. Oh no.
You know
Wow,
what? Don't alter it. Don't fix it. Just go on to the next one. Take what you've
Exactly.
learned and do it.
Yeah.
in the future.
Otherwise, you're just going to get really angry at this.
And
Yeah.
then your turn, Eric, and then someone's going to draw that, and then it's just going to be a repeat.
Oh, no.
I think the people fixing things after they get like critique on it or that sort of thing is kind of, I don't know. I'm always a big proponent of just like taking the lesson and doing another drawing.
Definitely
Mhm.
depends on
That-
what stage you're at. This is a done
Definitely.
stage.
And
Yeah.
yeah, if it's like this, like it's a fully finished painting, and especially if it's on one layer, it follows the same rules as traditional. Then, where it's like, if it's like a digital piece and you got all the layers separated, and it's still at a stage where you could easily change things. Stuff doesn't like depend on everything else. Like with all the shading and all that sort of stuff, it's just like some lines and colors. Like, okay, you can change that, but then like traditional, it's like no, leave it. Don't don't start erasing things.
Yeah, it's basically you come to us with a sketch and questions on how to proceed. That's when you work on the thing more. You come to us with a finished piece, you
Mhm.
take that and put it towards the next drawing.
Yes.
All right. Anyone else have any other questions they'd like to ask, or any other art they'd like to submit for critique?
Any other ponies they want to boop?
Yes. One sec.
Yeah.
Floor 5. Boop.
Floor 5. Precious child.
No problem, Zara.
Hmm.
It's literally what keeps track of the week for half of us.
It's kind of scary because we were talking before the stream how it's almost been 5 years doing this, and I don't understand how that time was possible in passing. I don't know how 5 years happened. Please, someone save me from the time.
Crazy that you nerds have been doing this for 5 years.
You're
The
part of it
subreddit's
now.
been-
You're stuck now. You can't leave, Pixie.
Yeah, no, I can't.
Okay. You don't leave the MLP Drawing School.
Yeah, the subreddit's almost 10 years old.
That's wow.
June 22nd,
Crazy
2011.
banana.
Yeah, I mean, it came when Pony came. Like, it pretty much popped up right away, right?
Yeah, it was a
That's
few
cool.
months later, yeah.
I'm always
So
amazed when I look at like
that's
the
an art school immediately
Yeah.
after ponies.
it's always crazy when I like, look at the tutorials and look at this and it's like, you know, made 10 years ago, and I'm like, wait, what?
What is time? Nobody knows. La di da da. Just
Alright.
try and stay sane.
Yeah. All right, well, with that, we're going to call it a week. Thank you all for coming. We'll see you again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Nah.